All right, today we're tackling one of the most ambitious, just mind-blowing urban projects in history, Dubai. But we're not just going to look at the glimmering skyline. We're going to peek behind the curtain, you and me, to find the hidden strategy that actually built a megacity right in the middle of the desert. So let's get into it. You know, this quote really gets to the heart of the matter. A city this grand, this futuristic, it just doesn't seem possible, right? Especially in a place with almost no natural advantages. It's a total contradiction, and believe me, that's completely by design. I mean, just think about it for a second. We're talking about a global hub with no major river, very little fertile land, and just scorching heat. Before all the skyscrapers, this was a small trading post. Its whole economy was built on pearling and fishing. Its survival, its entire existence, depended on being open to the world. And that history of openness, well, that became the seed for something much, much bigger. To really, truly understand Dubai, you have to look past the spectacle to see the strategy. It's all connected. Those dazzling skyscrapers you see, they're a direct result of extreme centralized control. The insane luxury malls, they were funded by a deliberate policy of aggressive economic diversification. And those world-famous artificial islands, they exist because Dubai made speed itself a core government policy. So, that brings us to the big question, right? How in the world do you design a future like this from what was, for all intents and purposes, a blank slate? This wasn't some slow, organic growth. No way. This was a deliberate, calculated blueprint from the very beginning. And this was the absolute cornerstone of the entire project. When oil was discovered, it would have been so easy to just sit back and get rich. But the leadership made a critical decision. They chose not to build a state that relied on oil. Instead, they decided to use that oil money almost like venture capital, to build a future, a post-oil economy. Every single decision that follows flows from this one foundational choice. So the blueprint kind of breaks down into three main pillars. First, like we just said, plan for a future beyond oil. That's rule number one. Second, make speed a non-negotiable part of how you govern. Projects that would take decades somewhere else, they go up in just a few years here. And third, you have to consciously, deliberately build a global identity. And this quote just brilliantly illustrates that third pillar. The architecture isn't just about having a place to live or work. It's a form of global branding. Think about the Burj Khalifa or the Palm Jumeirah. These aren't just structures. They are messages. They're signals of ambition, designed to put Dubai on the map and basically shout to the world that it is open for business and ready for the global spotlight. Okay, so you've got the blueprint in place. But what's the engine that actually powers the city? Let's take a look at the economic model. And, just as important, the people who make Dubai run, day in and day out. This chart right here pretty much shatters the biggest myth about Dubai. Everyone thinks it's all built on oil, right? Well, just look at that tiny little sliver for oil, a mere 5%. The real economic engine is this powerful combination of trade and logistics, tourism, and finance. The city strategically made itself a hub connecting entire continents, luring in global companies with its free zones, its massive port, and its world-class airport. So here's the crucial thing to understand. Dubai isn't just selling you a luxury apartment or a tourist package. It's selling a system. Its core product, the thing it's really offering the world, is efficiency. It competes by offering this neutral, basically frictionless platform where money, talent, and business can all come together with minimal red tape and maximum speed. And if efficiency is the engine, then the fuel that makes it run is people, migration. A staggering 90% of the population is foreign-born. Let that sink in. The city simply could not function, it couldn't grow, without this constant stream of people coming from all over the world to build it, to run it, and to innovate inside it. Now, this massive reliance on migration creates a very layered social structure. You've got a small minority of local citizens, then you have the skilled expatriate professionals in finance and tech, below that, a huge class of service workers, and then finally, the laborers, who actually build and maintain the city, often staying invisible while keeping that whole spectacle running. The city's smooth operation absolutely depends on each of these very distinct layers. Okay, so managing a city with this kind of structure, with this level of ambition, requires a really specific social contract. And this brings us to the core trade-off of the whole Dubai model. What's the price you pay for this incredible degree of order? So here's the fundamental deal. The promise is a society with almost unbelievable safety, social stability, and predictability.
And all of those things are hugely attractive to investors and residents, right? But the price for that promise is limited personal expression, very carefully curated public behavior, and that same top-down centralized control that allows them to build skyscrapers so quickly.
This quote just perfectly captures that social contract. It's a system that very explicitly puts stability and investor confidence ahead of things like public debate or dissent. The rules are crystal clear, enforcement is consistent, and public life is pretty closely monitored. It is a deliberate choice, and the entire system reflects that choice. So, how does a model built on speed and control get ready for the future? Well, Dubai is now facing its next major test, and it's applying that same well-practiced blueprint to a whole new set of global challenges. And look, the challenges ahead are immense. For a city in the desert, climate change and water scarcity aren't just problems, they're existential threats. And as other global hubs rise, the competition gets fiercer, so the pressure to keep that economic momentum going is constant. And Dubai is responding in the only way it knows how, by planning ahead and building its way out of trouble. The solutions are exactly what you'd expect: massive, top-down projects. We're talking total smart city integration, huge renewable energy fields, AI-driven governance, and of course, more and more vertical growth. It doesn't wait for a crisis to hit. It builds the narrative for what's coming next. So I think the big takeaway here is that Dubai offers this powerful, if maybe controversial, new model for what a megacity can be. It basically proves that a city doesn't need centuries of history or a bunch of natural advantages to become globally important. What it needs is a crystal clear vision, the absolute control to make it happen, and just relentless speed. And this leaves us with one final, really critical question to think about. When a city is engineered like a product, with efficiency as its main selling point, what is the ultimate cost? What gets left behind? That's the central question of Dubai's grand and still very much ongoing experiment.